Over the past 5 years, we have watched as Hollywood studios have emptied out the talent and drove in a plethora of new hires who are not wired to make entertainment anymore. Meritocracy? No, they'll have none of that. And as a result, we have watched the industry dive. But it's not just Hollywood. It's the gaming industry as well. Today, we'll tell you why it looks like companies simply cannot make the stuff they made a few years ago, and woke is the insane reason why. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the place that still uses that sort of gendered language, and we do so because it's apropos for telling the truth, with a capital T, please. Folks, as we get ready to dive into today's discussion about how woke broke many industries, not just filmmaking, but beyond in entertainment, consider clicking the like button. We'll get started with a panel of excellence, and it begins right now. Mark Kern, who should be on the Mount Rushmore of video gaming, says, "My son asked me one day, Dad, why doesn't Blizzard make a new Starcraft game like you did back in the day?" I replied, "They can't, son. They forgot how." And he's referring to this article from PC Gamer. If we click it, it says, a whole bunch of Korean studios are trying to convince Blizzard to let them make a new Starcraft game, including MMO specialist NC Soft. Now, what's interesting about this, the reason this story matters so much is because you now have so many people across the country that loves an older game begging a studio, please let us make a new version of this, because you can't. You don't have the ability to. You're not capable anymore. You have emptied out the ability to do things because you brought in DEI. This is by Rich Stanton. It's out of PC Gamer. It says a whole bunch of Korean studios are trying to convince Blizzard to let them make a new StarCraft game. It says, scroll down there. It says a new report in Asia Today says that 4 different Korean publishers are pitching StarCraft games to Blizzard in the latest attempt to bring back the iconic RTS franchise. Ah, yes, the good old real-time strategy. StarCraft rumors come around fairly regularly, but rarely do they center on anything as absurd as a StarCraft 3 following up 2 of the greatest RTS games ever made. No. The first one was a great game. The second one, well, it had issues. The 4 Korean companies competing to pitch for the StarCraft license are NCSoft, Nexon, Netmarble, and Krafton. NCSoft, known for Lineage and Guild Wars, among other MMOs, is claimed to have been pitching a StarCraft RPG, which presumably would be an MMO. All right, now hold on here. Folks, we can get into the minutia of this, or we can stick with what really matters. And that is that studios in the West, specifically in the West, limited to the West, have emptied out their talent to the point now where people are now begging those studios, let us take care of your IP for you. Because like infants, you can't do what the generation did before. I see this not only as being a Blizzard thing, I see this in the gaming industry at large. I see this in Hollywood. I think that they have decimated their ability to make good stuff through DEI because they hired people not based on merit, but based on quotas. And the terrible, awful thing to me is if they had hired on merit, I believe they would have picked up a kaleidoscope of humanity that would have reflected society, but they didn't want to do that. Panel, what say you? Have we reached the point now where we can't make stuff? Can Disney not even make a 2D animated movie anymore because we've lost the ability to do so? Have game companies, can they literally not do what we once had? Please share. What are your thoughts?
Knowledge loss is a real thing. You know, every company deals with it. But what you've seen really over the last 10 to 15 years is, and this you see this in the trades. We saw this a lot during the beer bug crisis, where we realized no one knows how to do anything anymore. These companies, gaming companies in the West, have a really bad habit of terminating their entire team as soon as a game is done. So you get this great game, it comes out, everybody loves it. It's time to go make a sequel, and half of your team is gone. Right, so you automatically, they're always having to climb out of a hole. Now we bring in DEI, and everybody loses their bloody minds, and now no one knows how to do anything. And now it's to the point where, you know, you've either forced them into retirement, or you left them so bitter that they won't come back. They they did it to themselves, and now they're paying for it. It's consequence time.
Kevin, that is all very true, and it's worse because people with talent don't even want to apply to places that act like that because they know they're going to be treated shabbily.
Yep.
But it's worse than all of that because, yes, we've lost the talent in these different fields, but I've been talking about institutional memory for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you lose people, and Lou, you know this. You lose the only guy that knows how to turn, this particular pump on or, refurbish it or whatever. You're done. Your plant shut down because you didn't bother to retain the institutional memory. You did not have that person mentor someone else to take care of that issue that was going to show up. And that's whether the person's forced out of their job, which is terrible, or they just retire. And they're totally fine with it. They actually helped a lot of older people retire out of an industry that they don't have anybody to replace them. And it doesn't matter what the industry is. It's games, it's animation, it could be anything.
It's not just mechanical stuff too. I always tell the story about when I was at Disneyland one day and I'm standing in line at the Stage Door Canteen, which is the hamburger joint next door to the Golden Horseshoe.
The Golden Horseshoe.
And there's these two 30-something Disney people, a man and a woman, standing there making deep conversation, and naturally being an overhearer, I overheard. They were wondering why the line was moving so slowly. And I sat there thinking, my God, Disney used to teach companies from around the world how to handle lines and how. I remember reading an article about a movie theater company in Sweden coming over to study Disney. So I get up to the front of the line, and what's happening? The girl taking the order says, "So, you having fun today?" The guy says, "Yeah, I just went on Splash Mountain." She says, "Oh, isn't it great in that part where they're so friendly, as they've been trained to be, rightfully so, that they're slowing the process down by having these long conversations with the guests." So when I came out, I walked up to these two people. They don't know me from Adam. And I say, "Excuse me." And they said, "Yes, sir. Can we help you?" I said, "I've got the answer to your question." "What question is that?" And I told them what I'd heard them say, and I told them what I'd seen. And they just sort of gave me this verbal pat on the head, "Thank you, boy, walk away." And so I did. And that was the attitude. We're God. We're Disney. We know better, even if we don't know, what from Shinola. And that permeates everything now. Everything.
Well, yeah. And and you're talking about what used to be and what we used to call the Disney difference, which does not exist any longer. And they used to try to teach. They had Disney University, for goodness sake. Right. And, you could go over there and you have invited instructors for periods of time on specific issues, things like that. You have obviously parks experts that are teaching people how to do things in a Disney way when it used to be valuable. They don't follow their own teachings. Their practices, quote unquote, have evolved because of their data-driven nature. I'm like, what data are you collecting that sent you off into this foolhardy errand and these practices that are not in service of the best customer service that you could possibly possess?
Right.
And
so the thing that I want to throw in here is as we're talking about and this issue with Blizzard and with Starcraft, which a legend in the space, and the things that you guys are talking about institutional knowledge fading away. The thing that we've seen, especially with what happened in 2020, there were a lot of people that were in the workforce that just decided, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this heavy corporate environment. The farther away the decision makers get from the people who actually make the product, the more of a problem you have. When reductions in force happen, they happen in ways that are sometimes agnostic to the way the product is actually made. I've seen a lot of reductions in force where someone would say, "Well, you've told me I have to get rid of 3 people. I hear that my guy that just left my team, that would be the number 1 spot in my team to lead the team, is going to get riffed over here. So let me have that guy back." And the corporate system says, no, we're going to fire that guy anyways. I think when we're talking about something like this, they have changed the way that they make video games, and you get people like when Mark was on the channel. Sorry, when Grums was on the channel, he talked about someone saying to them, "Well, we're now an adult company or a mature company, so therefore we're going to fire people as soon as this project is done." I think you've seen more and more of that as Blizzard then became Activision Blizzard, and now that it's a division of the video games section of Microsoft, a $1 trillion corporation here. I think I think this is just to the point where they are so focused on what they want the product to be that they don't actually understand that they have got gems that are appreciated by engaged fan bases anymore. And they don't have the people who know how to make it great, who have the institutional knowledge of what made it great in the first place. Disney suffers from this. A lot of the Imagineers left, the older Imagineers left around 2020. Some of them went over to Universal. Some of them retired. Some of them went and took consulting contracts and said, if you want me to work on this, pay me real money.
Yeah. Well, and also you have a management attitude that has no sense of their place in the universe and history. I used to know a very good friend who was the food and beverage manager at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. For those who don't know that hotel, the one from Pretty Woman, okay? And at that time, other hotel chains were bringing Wolfgang Puck, Joachim Splichal, which is, what do they call the company? Anyway, they'd have a bunch of stuff at Disney. They were bringing those people in to take over the F&B operations in various hotels. And this friend of mine said, I wish to God I could do that. I wish I could just walk away from a lot of this responsibility that I've got. But you know what? If I ever did it and it went wrong, we only lose our reputation for excellence once, and then it's gone and you can't get it back. And he understood that. These managers have no clue about that. No clue.
Well, I'll tell you this. When it comes to these Western studios, they seem to have no clue about what to do, and it's across multiple domains. It seems that wokeism has caused brokeism across various industries. It's not just streaming. It's not just film. It's gaming and God knows where else. Hope it didn't get into our healthcare systems, but I dread that it did. And we're watching right now the fall. But the good news is, listen, folks, I like to end optimistically. I believe that the upcoming generation is going to be the course correction that we need. And hopefully we can get those in between to believe once again in being good at what they do, not just thinking they're good because they exist. Panel, all hearts and minds clear on this one?
Yes.
Indeed.
Clear eyes can't fail.
All right. Well, clear eyes beats dry eyes. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for now, but don't worry. Do not fret. Not yet, for more content is still coming your way 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. What a joy it has been to share our time with you. We hope you feel the same. Adding value to your every single day is our job here, and we take it very seriously. Folks, the only thing we ask in return is that you consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it. Stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. And folks, if you'd like to subscribe to our partner YouTube channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and some of those radio stations like Vacation Radio, well, we certainly would appreciate it. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time and being invited into your day, folks, we go on our way saying this: keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.